Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, Richard Brendan, co-founder of Virgin Group, Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla. Do you know what is common in all of these people? You must be thinking, they all are the richest and dominating today's world. But there is one more thing which is common in all of them. They all have been successful in saving themselves from a trap in which every human being today is proudly putting himself.
Have to do, if I have to move somewhere or start something or whatever it may be, I'm not going to put my children into a system that doesn't understand the gifts and abilities I have just because they don't fit on the conveyor belt.
And in the US, there are more than 5 lakh people who don't send their children to school. Ironically, mostly all teachers, because they know how screwed up the system is.
You, on the other hand, must be studying in a college now and doing assignments on time, maintaining 90% attendance, reluctantly memorizing books and following every rule in the hope that when you will get out of college, you will have a graduation degree, you will get a good job, and after that, you will be able to support your parents, you will buy a big house, buy an expensive car, get married, send your children to a good school, and earn a lot of money. But what is the reality? You worked hard for 15 years. After doing this, you finally get a graduation degree. But now you come to know that you are not getting a job. You give so many interviews, but everywhere you get rejected for some reason, and people start making fun of you. You stop meeting people and lock yourself in your room. After crying, you just keep praying from God that somehow I should get a job. Gradually, your self-esteem and self-confidence start decreasing. Eventually, somehow, you get a job, but its salary is very low. But what else can you do under compulsion? You start doing that job, you don't have enough salary to earn and save enough money to buy a house. So you take a home loan. Now, you have your own house, but obviously you need a car too. You also take a car loan. Unknowingly, but you have tied yourself to everything. Now you are always afraid, what if I might get fired from the job? How will I be able to meet the household expenses? How I will manage loan and children's school fees. Slowly, you suppress your dreams and wake up quietly in the morning, go to the job and come home in the evening, whether you like to do it or not. And then a day comes when you start finding this life normal, and slowly while working, you grow old. You feel that maybe I was unlucky, that's why I could not do anything big in life. Because I worked very hard, but the truth is something else, my friend, which has been kept hidden from you till date.
The gang of 9 got together, I think it was, and decided this is what people should learn. Physics, biology, chemistry, and this is how they should learn.
It's like the newspaper industry, right? More printing presses, more big buildings, right? Makes us look grander.
The people who built the schools were consciously aiming at eradicating the will of the students who were part of the system because they wanted them to be obedient.
The entire purpose of a good university is to give you a foundation to fail, not a foundation to get an A.
You have been following this education system blindly since childhood. This education system was created so that you can fail. It was made so you can become an obedient factory worker. You might be thinking that I am against education system, but just give me a few minutes. After that, you will understand this entire trap yourself, so are you coming with me? Chapter 1. The Formation of Education System. In late 1806, there is a war between Napoleon's army and Prussian army. Prussia loses the war, despite having one of the best army. Prussian leaders do not understand how they can lose with such a good army. After a lot of thinking, their leaders understand that their army is strong, but during the war, instead of following the orders of their superiors, they were using their own brains. While Napoleon's army was only following Napoleon's orders, the consequence of this defeat, Prussia lost half of its territory. They have to surrender to Napoleon and also have to sign a peace agreement. Now, there is a challenge in front of the Prussian leaders that this should never happen to them again, but the question is how they are going to do it. After applying their brains, an idea comes to them, and then they start building a system, such a system, so that the soldiers do only as much as they are asked to do. And what could be the best possible way to do this? The aim was to control those brains, which are not yet capable of thinking on their own, which do not know about right and wrong, so that whatever is explained to them, they accept it as truth. And in this way, an 8-year education system was built. What is the Prussian education system? The education system is made compulsory for the age of 5 to 13, and its sole purpose was...
Prussians produced a universal education system in the late 1800s because they were afraid they were losing military superiority, and they wanted to produce a cadre of mindless, obedient soldiers. That was expressly the purpose.
Their plan was to transform the coming generation into a person who is obedient, obeys everything of his superiors, and does what he is told without asking a single question. During this 8 years education system, they were taught only those things that they can follow the orders of their superiors without thinking about himself. This education system was working exactly as planned by the Prussian leaders. In this way, a system was invented which was going to change everything in coming future, and this is exactly what happens. During that time, there was another thing, which was spreading very fast all over the world. Guess what? From the year 1760 to 1870, the Industrial Revolution was at its peak. The global economy is shifting very fast in the another direction. Till now, people were earning money by doing agriculture and making products with their own hands. But then, world was dominated by machines. Machine was making more products in a day than a human could make in a month, but there was a problem. And problem was the shortage of workers in the factories, because people were doing agriculture in their own fields, making products with their own hands, doing small businesses and earning money. In such a situation, why would anyone want to leave their job and work as a laborer in someone else's factory? This was the problem. How to find a solution of this problem? The Prussian education system had already reached the people at the top, and now different countries start making their education system on the model of this Prussian education system. This time, its sole purpose was to create a generation whose creativity is killed and only one option is left in their mind to earn money, and that is to work as a laborer in factories.
Corporate types mostly who wanted to produce cadres of obedient workers. And that's why the desks are in rows, and that's why there's factory bells, and that's why it's top-down leadership.
The people who till now were earning money by doing small business, their children's brain was washed in such a way that when they complete their education, they have been left with only one option available to earn money, and that is to work in factories. And in this way, the shortage of laborers gradually started to be filled. At that time, India was a slave of the British rulers, and British also had problem of shortage of manpower. Problem was, they were only a few of them, and it was becoming very difficult to control such a large population. In 1835, Thomas Babington Macaulay, you might have read in your school life as the name Lord Macaulay, he prepared a proposal to promote English education in India, and Lord William Bentinck, who was the Governor General of the East India Company at that time, passed it through the English Education Act of 1835. Again, this education system was based on the more or less Prussian education system. People were thinking that the British want to help them by teaching English to all of them and thought they are our well-wishers. But what is the truth was something else. Well, listen to it yourself from Lord Macaulay.
Education should create a class of person, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, opinion, morals, and in intellect.
Slowly, but British were achieving their objective. From the clerk in the office to soldiers in army, Indians were working everywhere. Now, the British were using the Indians to enslave the Indians. The brainwashing was done to such an extent that the Indians started considering it their duty to follow the rules of the British. Probably you might be thinking, wow, how smart were Britishers? But now it has been 76 years since independence. Everything has become better now, isn't it? If you are thinking like this, then after a few minutes, you will laugh at your thought. Chapter 2, The Unnoticed Trap. What is the first thought that comes to your parents' mind after you were born, or maybe even before you were born? I will send my child to study in a big school. Today, schools and colleges are becoming less of a place for education and more of a place for status. Parents proudly says to others that our son studies in a good school or our son studies in that college. As soon as you start speaking, your parents proudly get you admitted in a good school, and then they get relaxed that I have got my child admitted in a big school. Now they will make the future of my child. I just have to pay the fees on time. You go to school with a fresh, curious, and creative mind. A mind that has no limitations, with a mind that could do a lot if trained properly. But as soon as you go to school, you are given a syllabus of a different subjects. And then from now on, that becomes your world. And you start thinking about it from morning till evening. If you think or read about anything else other than that, it affects your marks, and then you get punishment. But do your parents even once question that what are these schools, colleges, and coachings teaching our child? Is the future of our child really becoming bright? What is being taught to our child, whether they like it or not, because they feel that their child's future is being made and their child is being made a successful person? But if you think a little carefully, then you will understand this entire schooling system is in a process of making your child in such a person that when the children comes out of school and college, He will have only one goal in his mind, to get a job, in other words. Someone should hire me. You are never been taught to be self-dependent because this system was never made for you to become completely self-independent. The ultimate goal was to provide an affordable and a good worker to the industry. This entire system was creating a group of people who can blindly follow the orders of their boss and who can respect their superiors day and night throughout the month and work in the hope that I will get a paycheck at the end of the month, whether I like the work or not. People spend more than 25 years of their lives in this current education system so that they can join a company of less educated boss than you and fulfill his dreams. No one wants you to become self-dependent. Nobody wants you to become a millionaire. Why would anyone want you to become a millionaire? If you become self-dependent, then you will not follow the orders. You will question everything. You will raise your voice against wrong things, but you will never understand this trap, because when you are put into this trap, you are not old enough to think and understand something. By the time you reach that age where you are capable of thinking, it is either too late, or you have been so brainwashed from the last 15 to 20 years, it seems right to you, or else you have become so old that a lot of responsibility falls on you and you are not able to get out of this trap, even if you want to get out, because now you have to earn money in any way. The hard work you were doing for the last 20 years, you gave millions of dollars to schools. You gave millions of dollars to colleges. In return of that, you just get busy in the hope of getting a job of $500 to $1,000 per month. What is the solution to all this? Should we stop going to schools? Should we stop going to colleges? Millions of students are going to schools and colleges. So I am saying that all these people are doing wrong. Well, you haven't understood yet. Let me explain. Chapter 3, the escape we all need. Promote something so much that it becomes a new way of life, and people follow it silently without asking any questions. Today, we just need to ask a simple question. Who created this education system, and why? You must have got the answers to both of these by now. At the time when this system was built, the world needed billions of workers. But what is the situation today? In the past, people died after living a below-average life, neither being able to fulfill their own hobbies, nor they left anything for their children's. No one was able to leave a big legacy, nor anyone become millionaire by following the system. They are just stuck in a paycheck-to-paycheck life and are living in fear all the time that so many layoffs are happening. Is it my turn next? And because of this fear, he is following all the orders of his superiors by staking his self-respect in the work quietly, whether he likes the work or not. We have two options. We should not accept the reality and remain trapped in this trap and put our children in this trap. And secondly, we should make our own path. We should explore ourselves. What should we do? What is the possible ethical way so that we can earn any amount we want? Now, we don't need more college graduates whose end goal is just a job and they don't have any skill. All they have is a so-called college degree. Now, times have changed. You used to pay millions of dollars to colleges to learn. You used to give precious 5 to 6 years of your life, and still you did not come out after learning anything. Now you can learn, even the biggest skills, through online courses at very low fees or by watching YouTube videos. You can learn from those people who have achieved something big by using their skill, not from those whose knowledge is only limited to theory. If you are a parent, then send your child to school, send him to college, but mark sheet should not have that much importance. Give them exposure. Tell them that there is a lot to do in this world. Maths, chemistry, and physics are not the only world. There are many things besides this. Motivate your child to explore different things. If the marks are less, it doesn't matter. Maybe he is learning some skill, where he is performing much better than this. So the question is, do you want a stable and average life? Or do you want to do something big in life? Do you want to earn a lot of money and fulfill your dreams? Decision is yours before it gets too late. Thank you so much for watching. Share this video with your parents, teachers, and your friends. Ask their thoughts about education system, and like, share, and don't forget to subscribe.